Now the next thing I'm going to do for these fish is add some Boogle. So Boogle is like a mineral-based immune system enhancer. And I've actually found it to work really well. What you do with it is any time that you're concerned about your fish, maybe they've been through something stressful, maybe you've relocated them or whatever, then you can chuck this in there, and this helps to artificially stimulate their immune system using various minerals and so forth. So I've actually had really good success with it. There's been various fish that I'm thinking, oh, they're gonzo. And I've added Boogle and I've seen the immune system kick back into life, and I've saved fish that I otherwise don't believe that I would save. So it's a really good product, lots of benefits, no harm. This pond currently has a KH level of 0. 0 is a big problem. All biological life requires carbonate. Plants will do better, fish will do better, everything will thrive, the bacteria will do better with the presence of carbonate. But what I don't want to do is go adding too much carbonate at once. I would much rather add a smaller amount and then come back and dose it again. So a normal dose rate for this pond would be 2.5 kilograms. I would really rather underdose this than overdose it. So I'm not going to put anywhere near 2.5 kilograms in. Now the reason why I don't want to overdose this product is it can boost pH too quickly, but most of all it can end up boosting the pH and making your ammonia more toxic. Because this has had issues with destabilization of the filter, the possibility of ammonia is very high right now. So what I don't want to do is go raising the KH up too much, because the high KH will make the ammonia more toxic. So I'd rather the KH come up slowly and for the ammonia to be less toxic. I just keep getting more and more fish food out of this pond. I go around and clean it all up, and then it seems to gather somewhere, and I get more and more and more out. Yeah, so adding small amounts of KH is much better than adding too much at once. You can shock the fish and you can make your ammonia more toxic. Now, it is really, really important that this ammonia, this KH is not 0. But I'd rather this pond be about 4 to 6. But as long as it's not 0, I'm sort of fairly happy. So there's no advantage in trying to dose it up. I would rather be more careful with my KH dose. Then I would rather check it, and then I would rather come back and dose it again. Didn't go and dose it too much. Now, every time I'm adding water to a pond, such as what this auto top-up's doing right now, you must add a water ager to take the chlorine and chloramone out of the water, particularly if you're changing a fair bit of water at a time. If you're doing a water change, meaning that you're removing water from the pond, there are 3 things I want to add. 1, water ager. And then I want to test and be aware of my GH and KH. So on a regular basis, at least once a quarter, I would recommend checking pH, KH and GH. It is very important that KH is added very slowly. On the other hand, that is not such an issue with GH. So putting a large dose of GH in, rarely any problem whatsoever. Now in this case, I actually want to get a fair bit of your GH salts in the water, because these fish are suffering from a low immune system, suffering from extreme stress from the filter not being on, particularly in a really hot day. So I'm just going to tip all of this in the water. This will not be a full dose. I will get a gauge of what level it gets us to, but I'm not worried. This is not going to get us to where I want to be. I'd like a GH in here of about 8 to 10. Also, when you're using these products, GH products and KH products, it's best not to use them in the same bucket if you're mixing them up for a water change. I like to let them dissolve individually. So if I put that one there and it can dissolve that one down there, it's better if they're not dissolving in the same space at the same time. So I've pulled out lots of uneaten food and about that much of the bucket of just sludge out of this pond. So this pond's had a bit of a problem because the filter has gone off during a hot day in summer, and we've seen extreme issues from the fish from lack of oxygen. Now, the other thing I want to make really clear is that a fish health, regardless of whether in a pond or a tank, is 50% due to your water quality and 50% due to your nutrients. I'm really not a fan of any of the bulk processed foods. Most fish food is pressure cooked, processed crap. I rather a cold extruded or a slow cooked food. That way the fish are actually going to get the nutrients that's meant to be in there. So my favorite foods by far is probiotics from New Life Spectrum. That is the cleanest food on the market, in my opinion. And when I recommend that to my customers, I find that their tanks and ponds just seem to be cleaner because the probiotic food has got a probiotic bacteria in the food. And this bacteria actually means that when the fish poo, the bacteria in the poo eats the poo. So it's really wonderful for keeping your pond or your tank nice and clean. The other food that I love is Danichi color. I think the quality of your fish when fed on Danichi color is second to none. It is a slow cooked food, holistic. It's a very, very premium food. These foods, you pay a little bit more for them, but they're absolutely worth it. When you see how much cleaner your tank stays and you see how much healthier your fish are, it is absolutely worth it. Now, it is very common for me to go to a job and all the fish look great and I test the water and the water quality is terrible. But then I look at the food they feed and it's a high quality food. Then it's not unusual that I'll go to the very next job, all their fish are dying, I'll test their water, it's much better than the previous house, and then I look at their food, and sure enough, they're using processed crap food. So I've been in the aquarium industry since 94. And in that time, I've been involved in a lot of aquariums and a lot of different fish foods. And I've absolutely developed the opinion that fish keeping is 50% what food you choose. It is the food and the environment that give the fish their health. So do not buy cheap bulk food. Buy good quality. Because when you have a problem, it really makes the difference. As I said, I can go from one job with terrible water quality and healthy fish due to the food. Go to the next job, not so bad water quality, dead fish because of the food. I think quality of food is the most under-discussed factor in our hobby. So these fish are looking heaps better. Now some of them do have bacterial sores on them. So we have a vet arriving probably just after I leave to medicate these fish properly. But as far as the water quality is concerned, it's way, way better. As far as physical cleanse, it's way, way better. So we have massive progress.